Shh, shush now. Hello again, everyone. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. If you want a shout out, please make sure you just post your name. Please ignore these spam texts from people. Don't click on any of that about that Netifly thing. Don't know who they are.
Don't shout out.
Yeah, shout out for Theo, my boy Theo.
Hi.
There's your shout out, right. Right, that should be clear to everyone. Now I'll put the headset on. Hello, Ollie from South Africa.
Wow.
I went there on a rugby tour. Lovely place, lovely place. Right, I'm going to try and block these spam things. Sorry, they're going to really annoy me. Right, we're going to make a start anyway, and then I'll try and sort out that issue in the chat with those people trying to advertise stuff. I don't know why they just can't leave us alone. Oh, hi Tabs. Oh, thank you. Hi Marley, don't wait. Year 6, you should be fine with this. You should be great with this. Okay. Right. Hi Alex, hi Rowan. So, we're going to start with our nice little warm-up here, okay? So, we're in a fish and chip shop. This is what we are selling things for. So, can of drink costs 80p, portion of chips costs £1.20, fish costs £2 or 200 pence. So put it all into pence to make it a bit easier to work with. Okay, so I want you to work out the cost of these different orders. So if you've got the worksheet at home, you can fill in your boxes at the top for what everything's worth, the prices, and I want you to work out the cost of each of these orders. If you've not got the printout, doesn't matter at all, just do it on paper, a whiteboard, whatever you want. Okay, so let's see, can you work at the cost of each of these orders? If you've got a 2 there, that just means 2 fish. So this person's ordered 2 fish, 1 chips and a drink. Probably more than one person, to be honest. No one eats 2 fish. You can write answers in the chat if you want to. You don't need to for this, but actually you can just do it at home and I'll go through them in a bit. Number one, 320 pence. Shout out to Sophie. Yep, I agree with that. I think rather than saying 320 pence though, we don't often say that, do we? What do we say instead of 320 pence? We don't say, oh, that costs 320 pence. What will we actually say it costs? Okay, so let's try and think. I'm not making this as real life as possible. We would say for that £3.20, wouldn't we? So the first one is definitely £3.20. Well done there, Sophie. Absolutely right. I'm trying to block these people that are on. Very annoying. Oh, sorry, my hat. The fish is worth £2. Get a smaller hat, don't know if I'm blocking that. The fish is worth £2, definitely. Smaller hat, a higher up panel than mine.
Piggy. Seriously. 5,000. 5,080. 5,200. Ooh.
Right guys, okay, I'm going to give you some answers for this. This warm-up shouldn't be too tricky for most of you, I think. So, those are the answers. It's a bit of working out for you as well. So that's what I wrote down. I like to write down the value of each one, add them together. Those bits I can do in my head. So if I know I've got 2 fish and they're 200 each, I'll just write down 400 for that, for my kind of working out. Right, and then your total prices for the end of that should be as follows. And I'll put it in pounds, because I think that's better to have this in pounds rather than in pence. That's what you'd actually talk about in a fish and chip shop if you owned it. So those are your answers there for the for how much everything's worth. Now, this is basically algebra. Algebra is giving a value to something that can change. Like you might change the price of your cans of drink. You might say, you know what, we're going to start charging 70p. Because we can afford to give people a better price. We might charge more for chips. We might charge less for fish. So these change. They're variables. So rather than having pictures though in algebra, we have letters. So instead of having those, I've just changed it all. I've replaced all the D's with a big D, where a capital D is the price of that. Yes, Theo?
I'm not too sure that number 7 is right.
Did you get the takeaway?
Oh.
Okay, watch out for the minus sign there. So if you're not sure about number 7, it says 200 take away 200. So this might have been someone ordered a fish and 2 chips, and then they're like, oh, I haven't got enough money. You know what? Take off the fish. I don't want the fish anymore. So then you've got 2 chips instead. So I'll just put letters in. It's exactly the same. I know it looks more complicated, but this is what algebra is. It's letters with meaning. They're not just random letters, they've got a value. That F is worth 200 because that's the price of a fish. Okay? So there is a reason for this. So why would we use algebra if we owned a fish and chip shop? So I'm going to try and show you why we would do this, why it's important. Why don't we just work it out as we go along? So I've made a little kind of spreadsheet for a fish and chip shop here. So this is the weekly takings from my fish and chip shop. Okay, so on Monday I sold 84 fish, 75 chips and 64 drinks. So I want to work at my total revenue, which revenue is how much money you are being paid for something. So it's not profit because it might cost you money to buy them in the first place, it's how much money we are taking in. So to work this out, I would use a formula. And this is a formula I would use. Okay, I would take my F, however many fish I've sold, and I times it by the price. So I would do 2 times F. Okay, I would then add to that the cost of chips, £1.20, and I times that by C, by my chips. I'll put the times signs in. And then I'd add to that finally my drinks, which is 0.80, times how many drinks I've sold. So that tells you the total amount of everything. So why is that important? I'm going to put this formula in and hopefully you'll see why we need algebra. So I'm going to say F times just bear with me. Okay, so I'm going to tell it this spreadsheet to do a formula. I'm going to say F times whatever F's I've sold. I'm going to say the price of C times by how many chips I've sold, and I'm going to do the price of that one. Oops, it's a big plus. So I plus this times this plus this times 6. Okay, and now this will work it out automatically for me. So it says on that day I made £309.20. Now I worked it out, but look what I can do now with using this algebra. If I put the same formula across, it works it out automatically for every single one. Oops, oh dear. Hold on. Right, sorry, there, now it's working. Okay, so it works out every single day. So why do you think I made more on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, do you think? Because the chip shop's making a lot more on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Why do you think that was? Okay, yeah, well, because people buy more fish and chips, don't they, on that day? People buy more chips on that day. Now, what if I decided to raise my fish price to £2.50? I could put £2.50 in there. Look what's going to happen to everything else. Everything else goes up. Okay, I could even work at my total of everything all together. So I'm making, in a full week there, I'm making £6,277. Not bad at all. So the point of that, I'm just trying to show you that algebra has a lot of uses. Now you don't need to be able to do that, but once you can understand algebra properly, you'll be able to run your own business, which is obviously the kind of things you want to be able to do to make some money. So we're going to practice it. So on this sheet here, I'm telling you that A is worth 2, B is worth 5, and C is worth 3. Can you work out the value of each of those expressions there? And an expression is just a combination of letters and numbers. They go down like this as well, so it should be 1, 2, 3, like that. So go down the board, okay? So remember, if you've got a 2 and a B, that means 2 lots of B. So it means 2 times whatever B is. So a really important thing in algebra, if you've got something like this, if you've got 4B, that means 4 times B. Letters next to each other, anything next to each other in algebra means multiply. That's a really key thing to look at. Okay, so these get really tough towards the end. Okay, I will be absolutely gobsmacked if anyone gets all of these right. There's a challenge for you. If anyone can get all 12 of these right, you are an absolute maths superstar. Okay, they are really tricky. Okay, so off you go then. Let me know if you've got any problems at all. Please post it in the chat. I'll continue blocking these people that are spamming random stuff in there. Please don't click on their stuff and I will report it to Facebook for next time.
Daddy?
Yep.
What does AB mean?
Means A times B. So AB means anything next to each other in algebra means multiply. So this means A multiplied by B. Now you know what A is, you know what B is, so multiply them together. Okay?
So 2 times 5.
That's right, yep, so 2 times 5.
10. Daddy, are numbers the same?
Yep.
Numbers the same. So 2 times B. 2.
Lisa Jane, I'm not sure if that's your name. 8 is 9. You're saying question 8 is 9. I'll number them properly so you can see which one's which.
Daddy.
Yep.
I'm a little bit stuck on number 3.
Number 3. Because you're going to get a negative number.
Yeah.
You're going to get a negative number, aren't you? So number 3 will be a negative number. So 4C, 4 times 3 is 12. Then we're going to take away 14. So think about your negative numbers. That's definitely, you're not going to enough to take away, have you? So it's going to go into the negative numbers. Think about how much extra you would need. I guess that's how you work it out.
Okay. 8 times B times C. Daddy? Daddy?
I'm really sorry about these spammy comments. I don't know where they come from. I'll obviously get on the Facebook for next week, but I've tried to block as many of them, but they seem to have an ultimate army of more people putting comments on there.
Daddy?
Yep.
Does on question 5 you times them separate today?
Do A times B and then times your answer by C. So just keep timesing.
Oh. A times B. So
So question 5, you're going to do A times B. Okay, so you're going to do 2 times 5 first, and then I write down the answer. So A times B, 2 times 5 is 10. You're then going to have to times that by your 3, aren't you? So if you do it bit by bit, when you multiply, just go from left to right. So do the first 2 and then the next 2. Hopefully that helps you with question 5. I think someone said they were a bit stuck on question 5 there. Squared, I'm hoping most of you know what squared means. That means multiplied by itself. That's an important one to look at, what that means, multiplied by itself.
Ooh, these are tough. Wait.
Stuck on 10. Okay, so when we do something, I'm sure you've heard of BIDMAS before. BIDMAS,
Yeah.
the I stands for indices, which are these little powers. So the first thing we do is a power. So the first thing you've got to do is C squared and then times it by A. This one is different because you do the bracket first. So remember, squaring means times by itself. So it's just the C that's being squared there. Hello, Heba from Canada as well. Great to have you here. No idea what time it is there. Must be pretty early, I guess. No, not that early, I guess. It's quite late. So question 10, we're going to square the C first. So it's 3 squared, yep. So we're doing this. There's your 3 squared. And then we're going to times it by 2 afterwards. So work out your 3 squared first and then multiply it by the 2. So it's 3 squared and then times by the 2. This one is different because you're doing your 2 times 3 first and then squaring it. So these brackets are really important. Lisa Jane, what's your actual name? Or is that your name? Or is that your mum's name? You're doing really well here.
Daddy, what's 7's? I've got a bit stuck on 7.
Seven, work out the top. So 7, this line means divided by. So work out the top first and then divide it by A. So work out your top. Whenever you get these fractions, they're really good for splitting up dividings. So you work out your top bit first and then your bottom and then divide the top by the bottom.
3 times B. So 3P, 3 times B.
Okay, just going to go for 1 more minute. Don't wait, you haven't done all these. Okay, there's lots of different ages here. Okay, this goes all the way up to really a GCSE grade 4. So it's pretty tough stuff. Okay, without a calculator as well. But this, you get this on the higher GCSE paper as well, and you'd also need it all the way up to there as well. It's just algebra, it's useful stuff.
3C. 3 times B and 3 times C. 3 times B equals 15.
Okay, right, I'm going to give you some answers, some great answers on the chat there. Okay, so there it is. I've shown a bit of working out again for you as well. That's the kind of working out I like to show. I think it's risky to do all of these in your head. I really think it is. Particularly ones that question 10 and 11 there. We should have put the numbers off. Okay, so there your answers are. This one there, very tricky. B to the power C. Well, B is 5 and C is 3, so that means 5 cubed, which means 5 times itself times itself. There's 3 5s there. So if you've done quite a lot of work with indices there, well done. If you've not come across that yet, don't worry. Okay, there is a full range in here. The thing I'm looking for is that you understand how to put numbers into these. This is called substitution, and work at the value of these expressions. Because these could be the prices of different items at a shop, and this is a formula that works at the total cost. Okay, it really is very useful stuff, algebra. You don't always know it because you just think of them as letters. That's why I'm trying to think about it as a fish and chip shop. Okay, right. Next thing we're going to do. Okay, what about this one? A bit of a problem for you to have a think about. So the same prices, not changing the prices. Drinks 80p, chips £1.20, fish 200. I sell some drinks and a portion of chips. I get paid £4.40 for it. How many drinks did I sell? It's one portion of chips, so just one portion of chips. So can you work out how many drinks I sold? And I want you to think about how you've done it. Okay, how you've done it is really important, and that is a key to understanding how to solve equations. How are you working out? What strategies are you using? Kira in Iricham, well done. People in year 6 as well, absolutely fantastic that you're doing this. Very, very impressive. So how can you work? First thing I do is I change that to pence. So I'd say, let's work with 440 pence. Makes it easier to start because they're all in pence. Let's put everything in the same. When you're working with different units, make them the same. Much easier. So we've got 4, haven't we? We've got lots of 4s coming in here. So how have you worked it out? Can anyone explain? Lovely. I took away 120 from 440. I should know that name. Stevie Thomas, what's your real name? I know you've been here before. Okay, so year 3 found this so easy. Wowzers. So 440. The first thing you're going to do is you are going to take away your 200. In fact, do it on the big board here. Okay, so you are going to take away the 200 from it because we know we bought a portion of chips, so you're going to take away the 120. So you've probably done this. 440 take away 120 to start with. Okay, because we're going to knock off the chips. That leaves us with 320 pence left. Now we know that drinks cost 80p, so the question is, how many 80s can we get into 320? So we're dividing by 80, aren't we? We're doing 320 divided by 80, which gives us 4 drinks. So there were 4 drinks they must have bought in that. And what you've done is you've solved an equation there. Because the equation you've solved is this. To start with, to work out how much it cost, they would have done this. They would have said, well, your total cost is 440, and we bought, okay, we bought one portion of chips, didn't we? We bought some drinks. So we bought, I'm going to call it D times 80. Okay, we bought, because each drink is worth 80 pence. And then we also added on some chips to it, and we got 440. So what we do is we work backwards. And we start from the 440. What's the opposite of plus 120? Minus 120. And this means times, remember? That means times. So instead of timesing by 80, we are going to divide by 80. And that gets us our answer. I'll just show you what I mean here. So there's our equation. So the first thing I did was I took away my 120. We then divided by 80, and you end up with D, which is, for what I'm saying, the number of drinks you bought. So we end up with 320, then we look at how many 8s go into 32 is 4, so it's going to be 4 drinks. So we know we've sold 4 drinks in this order. So this equation thing is really important. So the kind of questions you'll get, those are the ones you want to answer, because that's to do with real life stuff. But you might be given an equation like this. So if you were given this equation here, if you were given 5x minus 3 equals 27, you would work backwards. So we start at the end and we think about opposites. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. The opposite of timesing by 5 is dividing by 5. And then we do that to the 27. Okay? So 27 plus 3 is what, Theo?
30.
30. And what's 30 divided by 5? How many 5s go into 30? Oh, pressure.
6.
6. And we end up with 6. So we know that x has to equal 6. Now that for me is a fantastic way to solve equations. If you know a different way and you are used to using that really well, fantastic, go with it. This is the way I love, because it makes sense for things like that fish and chip thing, the thing you did yourself just by thinking about it. So the last thing we're going to do before some bingo is have a go at solving some equations. Okay? And I do not want to hear when you get to question 10, can't do 10, can't do 11, can't 12. You can do them. Just do the same thing we are doing there on the board. Okay, so have a go at those, and then we're going to that'll probably take you 5-10 minutes, probably not even 10 minutes. We'll see how we get on with that, and then we're going to have a game of bingo for some prizes after that. So if you did it a different way, absolutely fine, as long as you're not guessing. What I don't want you to do, I don't want you to say, I'm going to guess that x is 5 and see if it works. Okay, that's not a good way to do it. Guessing is not a good way to answer maths problems. Working backwards is a really good way to answer them.
So, 9 equals 6.
Good for you, well done.
I don't get the 2 times your times.
So opposite of timesing by 2, what's your opposite of timesing by 2?
Divided by 2.
So divided by 2, what, you've got your 6, haven't you? So just do your 6 divided by 2. There we go, okay. So it's just working in reverse. So just the first one, so we are going to minus the 3, and then we're going to divide by the 2. Okay, so that's what you're doing for that first one. Start at the 9, minus the 3, then divide by 2. It's like a flow chart, a flow diagram. Okay, or a function machine we call these in maths as well. If you're doing it a different way, if you are taking away 3 from both sides, fantastic. Love that method, really good. I'm not got a hat on, this is terrible. So, but just think about using a method that works really, really well.
Where'd you put your answer for it?
So for your answer, you want to write down x equals. So just underneath it, write down x equals, and then your answer. If you are doing these in your heads, guys, I've not got a problem with that. A lot of maths teachers will say, no, you must write it down. As long as you're doing that method in your head, not a problem for me. You might struggle with 10, 11 and 12 there. You might have to write something down for that. Who's got 1.6 for question 10? The live stream's still going here, just try refreshing it. If you got 1.6 for question 10, you made a bit of a silly mistake there. I can see what you've done. Question 10 is not 1.6. Yep.
Could you just check the second one?
Yeah, 4, very good. Well done. I thought you'd take well done to add it. Well done for you.
I told you I'm used to using my head.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy, I haven't got 12 in this seat. Or 8 or 4. And then it only goes up to...
I'll cut a few off on the sheet. Don't worry about it. I couldn't fit them all on the sheet. If you got the printout, haven't got quite as many questions. I just couldn't fit them all on that sheet, I'm afraid.
Do you want me to do number 4 or should I carry on?
No, it's up to you. Just carry them on the sheet.
Okay. Oh. Ooh.
Right, just another 30 seconds. Just finish the one you're on. Okay.
Oh.
It's about the technique, don't we, Theo? You know, this is high school work, really. So don't worry about it. Okay, I just want to look at the 3 which might catch some of you out here. Okay, this is not about algebra. It's about being confident with your number work. So you add the 4 first. It's going to give you 24, and then you're going to do 24 divided by 10. Okay, now you should be able to divide by 10. This is a really important skill to be able to do. 24 divided by 10 is when you start moving everything using your place value. So that would be 2.4. That's a really important number to be able to divide by 10. Okay, question 11. You take away the 5 to give you 9. Then you're going to do 9 divided by 2. Okay, so half of 9, if you like, is a bit tricky. But don't say I can't do it. You can't put in a remainder. You need to know that that is 4.5 or 4.5. And finally, question 12. When you take away the 8 from 2, hurts your brain a bit. Because 2 take away 8 goes into negative. So you've got negative 6. When we do negative 6 divided by 3, we get negative 2. Those 3 questions highlight 3 of the most important things to sort out in maths to make sure you're good with. That is dividing times in by 10, fractions, okay, when being able to divide by 2, use fractions and decimals, and negative numbers. Those are going to be really important in everything you do. So work on those. Right, the answer for the rest of them though are as follows. Okay, so just double check you've got the right ones there. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of you are doing those in your head, which I don't have a problem with as long as you're getting them right and as long as you're using this backwards method. If you're doing lots of working out, that's fine as well. It is entirely up to you as long as you are happy. When you see an equation, you think, I know how to work out what x is. I know how to work out how many drinks were sold, how many portions of fish were sold. I understand what it all means. Okay, right, we are going to play some bingo, some algebra bingo. So it's going to be slightly different to our normal bingo games. Oh, just before, a reminder, lessons have changed a little bit. So the ages 7 to 13 are going to be on Wednesdays at 3:30 now, and ages 5 to 9, so the younger lessons, which are probably not appropriate for most of you guys, is going to be the Thursday. That's going to be at 10:30 a.m. Okay, same kind of format, lots of games, activities, and stuff like that, and keep your maths ticking over because I know it's difficult when you are off school. Okay, so please, if you want to, turn up to those lessons. They are all free, of course. Right, so some algebra bingo. if you've got a printout, you've got 6 squares. Otherwise, just write down 6 numbers and put an integer between 1 and 20 in each rectangle.
What's an integer?
Which of you are saying, what is an integer? It's a word I need to use more as a teacher. What is an integer? Does anyone know what an integer is? It's one of those words you need to use more, but we just don't. What does integer mean? Does anyone know what an integer is? Anyone got any ideas? A whole number, brilliant. It's a whole number. I could just say a number, couldn't I? But when I say a number between 1 and 20, you could put 2.4 in there or 3.5, couldn't you? Obviously no one does, but an integer means a whole number. No decimals allowed. You can have negatives, but no decimals. So in this, I want all your numbers between 1 and 20, so whole numbers, integers between 1 and 20. Just choose 6 of them. No power animals in this version, I'm afraid. And all 6 wins a prize and a special question made up about the next lesson. Tell me your numbers in the chat as well. So what are your 6 numbers? So pick your 6 numbers here and then call them out. I'll write them on the chat.
Are we having negative numbers?
It's just no, because you want to get them between 1 and 20, don't you?
Oh.
So no, don't pick negatives for this. It's not a square number, it's just a whole number. So all an integer is just a whole number. We need to just use that term more, because if you get in an exam, if it says name an integer between these, you'll be thinking, what are they talking about? Okay, well done guys, no, that's a whole number. So, write your numbers in the grid, 6 numbers, and post them on the chat, please. Have you got your numbers there?
Yep.
What you got?
1, 14, 20, 10.
Hold on, slow down, I can't be that fast. 1,
14.
Yep.
20.
Yep.
10.
Yep.
2.
2, half.
Sorry.
Yep.
2 and 1.
And 1. You've got to
No,
use
2.
1 twice.
I said 2 add 1. 3.
3. Oh, right, okay. So those are your numbers, yeah?
Yep. 1, 14, 20, 10, 2.
Okay, let's play bingo! So, answers are in the screen. So, of course, when you have 2 squares left, you just shout up and say, shaky, shaky! Give me a shaky shake in the chat as well. When you've got 1 square left, stand up and shout top banana. Put your top banana in the chat. When you've obviously got no squares left, bingo. So you need all 6 to win the prize. Okay, so first one, X is the number. So work on what X is. That is the bingo number.
X equals 12. Oh.
Work out what X is. 2X equals 12. So you're working backwards thing. 2 times something equals 12. Think about what X needs to be.
No, don't have that number.
Okay, so 2 times something equals 12. It's 6 because you need to do 12 divided by 6, don't you? Working backwards. So 6 is the first number. Next one. X plus 4 equals 15. Something plus 4 equals 15. You can work backwards, remember.
15 take away 4.
Easy, yeah. Just work backwards to solve it.
Don't have it. No,
Okay, nice work. So 11 for that one. 15 take 4 is 11. Okay, 8x equals 80. So just work backwards. Do 80 divided by 8. Or think 8 times something gives you 80. You get that one, Dave?
Yeah.
What number was it?
10.
Very good. Excellent algebra. So we got 10, haven't we? 8 times 10 is 80. X plus 3 equals 7. Something plus 3 equals 7.
Got 1 less.
Something plus 3 equals 7. So looking at 4 there, are we, for our bingo? 4 for bingo. Brilliant answers coming in as well. Lovely algebra. Right, oh, this is easy, nice and straightforward. X is by itself, that's what we like. 15 minus 12 equals X. Just do what it says.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have that number.
So if it's that way round, easy, isn't it? It's the right way round. 15 take away 12 equals X.
Lemon squeezy.
So X has to be 3, doesn't it? 15 minus 12 is 3. Okay, 4 plus X equals 11. 4 plus X equals
Daddy,
11.
I'm a bit confused on that one.
So work backwards. It's the same as x plus 4 equals 11, isn't it? It's the same thing.
So, do you do 11 take away 4?
Yeah, that's fine. 11 take 4 will work, wouldn't it? Okay, so 11 take 4 is 7. Have we got any shaky shakies? Any shaky shakies yet? No shaky shakies, no shaky shakies. 10 minus 3 equals 10. I think these are the best ones to work backwards in. Do the opposite. Work backwards, do the opposite.
I've got one more of it.
So we're going to do 10. Instead of minusing 3, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to plus the 3 to get our answer. Okay, next one. X plus x equals 16. Well, that's a strange one, isn't it? What do you think about that? Or not one like that?
So you need to take away the x.
These x's need to be the same because they're both x's. So what does x have
half
to
of
be?
16?
Good way of doing it there. I like that.
Half of 16. Think. I got it. Well, I don't have it.
Okay, so half of 16, we can half it because we've got the same number, so the same as dividing by 2 gives us 8. Okay, 20 minus x equals 3. These are tricky to do in the verse. You need to just think about this. 20 take away something is going to give you 3. Think about how many to take away to get there.
Oh, I don't have it.
Did you get the answer there?
Yep, 17.
Well done, excellent, 17. Okay, so 17 for that one. We must have some shaky shakies coming now. Have we got any shaky shakies? Any shaky shakies? Anyone got 2 left? Remember, 2 left is a shaky shaky. 7 plus x equals 9. 7 plus x equals 9. 7 plus x.
Yes!
3 left. We've got a 3 left. Another good 3 left. We need a shaky shaky.
I got 3 left.
Okay, 7 plus x equals 9. Next one, 12 minus x equals 7. What do you take away from 12 to get to 7? Top banana! We've got a top banana! And we've got a shaky shaky. Make sure you give me your names as well. We've got one shaky shaky. Another top banana. Oh, it's all coming in now. Goodness me, it's going to be a close finish. Another shaky shaky. So we've got shaky shakies and top bananas. We are getting close here. Okay, next one. I have a feeling we could have a winner coming up soon. 3x equals 27. 3x, 3 times something equals 27. 3x
27
equals 27.
divided by 3. Oh, I know this one. Oh, I wish I had that.
Another shaky shaky and a top banana! Make sure you give me your names, please.
Daddy, I know what the answer is.
Shake up. What's shake up? It's not shake up. Shaky shaky. Okay, here we go. Bingo! We got 2 bingos. Right, we're going to stop that for our winners, guys. Well done. So we've got, I've looked at the chat, it's all going crazy with Lisa, and there was someone else with that as well that got a bingo. Lisa got bingo, yep, definitely, and there's another bingo as well somewhere. I will sort that out and I will get in contact with you for your prizes and your questions for next time. So I will hopefully see a lot of you on, what is it, it's the Wednesday lesson, isn't it, next week at 3:30. But well done, guys. Keep up the good work, okay? Don't fall behind in your maths, don't fall behind in your English. I mean, don't fall behind in everything, but those are going to be really important later on. And if I ever see you, if any of you open up a fish and chip shop because of this lesson, I expect free fish and chips when I come in, please. So let me know. Okay, have a fantastic weekend, guys. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.
I just needed 140 or 20.
3 left. Very close, guys. Very close. Close game. Close game. Yeah, well done, everyone. Brilliant work. Very, very impressed with your mathematics and your algebra.